Most people pick an insurance agent without ever knowing what that agent has actually seen when claims go wrong. You learn a lot about an insurance company when you watch how they handle a real claim, not a hypothetical, not a brochure, but a real person's car sitting in a shop waiting to be repaired. Before I ever sold a single insurance policy, I spent years on the other side of the claims process. I owned a collision repair center and an auto repair shop in the Las Vegas area. I watched carriers send adjusters into my shop on a regular basis. Some handled it well, some didn't. And I got to see up close what actually happens after someone files a claim, not the version the carrier puts on their website. My name is Jim Eddington, and I run an independent insurance agency called Western Pacific Insurance based in Henderson, Nevada. This video is a little different from what we normally do on this channel. I want to tell you who we are, where we came from, and why that matters when you're trusting someone to protect your family or your business. I got into the collision repair business back in 2004. I owned and operated a collision repair center called Fix Auto and a repair garage called Rebel Automotive. So I spent a long time in that world before I ever came to the insurance side. And if you've never been inside a body shop from the business side, here's what you should know. The insurance company isn't just writing a check and walking away. There are adjusters, supplements, parts negotiations, rental car timelines, and a whole lot of back and forth between the shop and the carrier. I lived in that world every day. I saw how different carriers approached the same type of claim. Some were efficient, communicated clearly, and treated the vehicle owner fairly. Others created friction like it was a game. I had an adjuster once try to get us to order used parts from a random junkyard in the Midwest just to save a few bucks. That part would have taken a week to arrive, a week the customer is waiting for their car, and it was completely unnecessary. That kind of thing happened more than you'd think. Those experiences shaped how I think about carriers today, and is something we've tried to embed in our agents' conversations with clients about which company to place their coverage with. When we recommend a carrier at Western Pacific Insurance, it's not just about price. It's about how that company behaves when something goes wrong. I've seen the difference firsthand, and it matters. One thing I used to do as a collision repair shop owner was visit local insurance agencies. Captive agents, especially farmers agents, could be a great referral source for collision repair because we had a direct repair relationship with farmers at our shop. So I'd go in, introduce myself, build a relationship. What I noticed over time in my conversations with those captive agents is they were often limited in what they could offer. If you were a great fit for farmers, they could take care of you. But if you weren't, maybe your home was in a tough area for their underwriting, maybe your driving record didn't fit their appetite, maybe you needed something they just didn't write, that agent was stuck. They couldn't go across the street and place you with someone else. The only option was to refer you out or tell you to find coverage on your own. I also insured my own businesses over the years through captive agents and through brokerages. I experienced that limitation firsthand as a business owner. When your carrier decides they don't want your risk anymore, maybe your industry changed, maybe you had a claim, maybe their underwriting appetite shifted, and your agent only has that one carrier, you're starting over from scratch with someone new. You're re-explaining your business, filling out new applications, and hoping the next agent actually understands what you need. That's a frustrating position to be in when you're trying to run a business, and it's one of the biggest reasons we operate the way we do today. Here's something that might surprise you. I've been a believer in insurance since my mid-20s. I got married in my early 20s, and when we bought our first home in 2006, I had an agent who took the time to sit down with me and explain why structuring my personal insurance the right way mattered. He taught me that paying for a personal umbrella policy, even when it feels like a stretch in your 20s, is worth the peace of mind. He helped me understand that term life insurance isn't just a line item on a budget. It's the thing that protects your family's financial future if something happens to you. That was in 2006. I wasn't in the insurance business. I was running repair shops. But that conversation shifted how I thought about insurance entirely. It stopped being an expense I resented and became something I genuinely valued. Not because someone sold me on it, but because someone took the time to educate me. I look back on that now and realize that agent did something most people in this industry don't do. He didn't lead with fear. He didn't pressure me. He just explained what the coverage does, what it costs, and what could happen without it. And he let me make the decision. I was 26 and I chose to spend money on an umbrella policy. That tells you how effective good education can be. That's the approach we take at Western Pacific Insurance. We're not trying to pressure anyone into buying something. We want you to understand what you're buying, why it matters, and what happens if you don't have it. If we do that well, the decision usually takes care of itself. Western Pacific Insurance was founded in 2003 by my dad. He had spent years in business, running operations, owning businesses, working in investment advising. He saw a gap in the lending industry. Mortgage lenders needed a reliable partner to help their borrowers get homeowners insurance placed correctly and efficiently. That was the original foundation for the agency. Within a few years, my dad had bought out his original partners and eventually built the agency to over 10,000 active clients. He built his business around being consistent, available, and treating people the right way. In 2016, my brother Tom and I came on board. The plan was for us to take over the business, which we did at the end of 2018. Tom came from a very different background than I did. He was in the CPA and banking world. He had been the CFO of a regional subsidiary of Zions Bancorp. So he brought financial discipline, compliance thinking, and operational structure to the agency. I brought the perspective I just described, years of watching the claims process from the repair side, years of being a business owner, buying insurance, and a genuine belief that the right coverage matters. We come at this business from completely different angles, and that's actually one of our biggest strengths. Western Pacific Insurance is an independent agency. That means we're not locked into one carrier. We work with companies like Liberty Mutual, Travelers, Progressive, and many others. When you come to us, we shop your coverage across multiple carriers to find the right fit, not just the cheapest price, but the right combination of coverage, carrier strength, and value. We write property and casualty insurance in Nevada, Arizona, Utah, and California. We write life insurance in nearly every state and U.S. territory. And we handle both personal and commercial lines. So whether you need home and auto coverage for your family or a business owner's policy and commercial auto for your company, we can take care of it under one roof. That matters more than people realize when your home, your auto, your umbrella, and your business coverage are all managed by the same agency. Nothing falls through the cracks. We can see the full picture, we can coordinate your limits, make sure there are no gaps, and make sure your coverages work together the way they're supposed to. And when something does change, you buy a new car, you renovate your house, you add an employee, you start a side business, you're making one phone call. You're talking to someone who already knows your situation and can adjust your coverage without you having to explain everything from the beginning. We've worked with tens of thousands of clients since 2003. And behind Tom and me, there's a full team. And behind Tom and me, there's a full team. Skilled, licensed agents, dedicated customer service representatives, and a wonderful management team overseeing personal and commercial lines. We're also a bilingual agency, so we serve both English and Spanish-speaking clientele. This isn't a side project. This is what we do, and we've built a team around doing it well. I've seen insurance from most angles you can see it from. I've been the shop owner watching carriers handle claims on my customers' vehicles. I've been the business owner buying coverage and hoping my agent had my best interests in mind. I've been the young husband learning for the first time why an umbrella policy is worth the extra cost. And now my brother and I own an independent agency helping families and businesses protect what they've built. That's not a sales pitch, that's just the path that got us here. And it shapes how we treat every client who walks through the door or calls us on the phone. We're not the right fit for everyone, and we'll tell you that up front. If you're just looking for the absolute cheapest premium and nothing else matters, there are places you can go online and buy a policy in 10 minutes. But if you want someone who's going to look at your full picture, shop your coverage across multiple carriers, and make sure you actually understand what you're paying for, that's what we do. We write coverage in Nevada, Arizona, Utah, and California, and we'd be happy to help. There's a link below where you can request a quote, and if you found this helpful, we put out videos like this every week covering insurance topics that actually matter to real people. Thanks for watching.